Journey with Judy. Honest, open, transparent. It's hot.
There's no such thing as perfect people. There's no such thing as a perfect life.
All right, so good morning. Thanks for choosing to hang with me, Judy Hehr, right here on Journey with Judy on Lake 96.1. I told Robin, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about today, and those of you who listen are probably thinking you never have any idea what you're talking about, and you may never even get to a point. But the fact is, that's just the way life is. We're here, there, we're everywhere. We think we're so ready, and then we're so ill-prepared. And so I don't know what this season of life is for you right now, but I can tell you, I feel like I am literally killing it. I could not have been more ready for my kids to come home at Thanksgiving. So 3 out of 4 were home. Still very much reeling over the experience that we had, 10 days ago or whatever at the Twin Oaks shelter. Like, we get so ready for having our Thanksgiving tradition at the Twin Oaks shelter. We are ready. Like, we're ready. We know what to expect. And we go very prepared. And the reality is, we're never prepared, and we never could have expected some of the conversations that take place. I mean, we honestly connect in such a profound way with complete strangers, people we never have laid eyes on, and in just a few hours, how they could be brought to tears just having that profound connection with another human being, to just see things from, through their eyes and feel the love in their heart. My kids just love the little kids that are at the shelter. And so there were 2 kids this year. Some year there's been as many as 12, but this year there was 2 little kids, and they just get all the attention. They're just so cute, and they say the neatest things. And so here we are in the middle of the Twin Oaks shelter, serving, 30 some odd people and their respective families. And this little girl looks up and she says, "This is the best Thanksgiving ever." Everybody in the kitchen, we're all standing around this island and sitting around this island, and just stopped, like dead in their tracks. And her mother looked down at her and she said, "Well, what makes it the best Thanksgiving ever?" And she said, "I don't know. It's just the best Thanksgiving ever." And so I was not expecting that. I was not prepared for that. So it got me thinking, like, how you feel you're so prepared, but you never really know what's going to go on in your marriage, in your parenting, in your life, in your profession. Can you ever really be ready? And here we are in this Advent season. This is the first Sunday of Advent. I love Advent. Tell you why in the next segment. But here's what I felt really ready for and what I feel really not ready for. I was so ready for my kids to come home. Even though there are only 3 of them there out of the 4, I was ready. Like, I was doing this self-talking weeks before they arrived, obviously planning what I was going to be serving them, asking them specifically for their, request on, particular meals that they wanted. But more importantly than how I was serving them was the how I was serving them. And I mean that in the way that I was going to intentionally love on them and allow them to be in this space that we call home. And it's a new space. We're in a new home. This is our first holiday in a new home. And so things were just different, but they were so amazingly different because I was waiting and anticipating, and I was so prepared. And I wanted to be mindful of the fact that my kids are coming from college. They have a grind that I don't understand, not only as students who went to college, because I didn't, but as athletes who go to college and navigate athletics and blah, blah, blah. And so I just wanted to let them be in their space. And so I had to talk about what I would say if they did or didn't do what I wanted them to say or not do. And I killed it. I literally killed it. At one point, Chandler goes, "Mom, you have not yelled one time." Now, first of all, when I'm talking, they think I'm yelling. This is my motivational speaking voice. But the reality was I set that intention, and I absolutely was so mindful of not only preparing, planning, if this happened, I was going to do that. And if this was said, I was going to respond that way. And while we can't always prepare for the unexpected, we can totally prepare for some of those things that happen in our family, like with our kids and with our spouses. We can just get ready and always be ready so we never have to get ready in the heat of the moment. And so here's what I was so not ready for. I was so not ready to do Christmas decorations with my man. We'll be talking about that after the break. It was really fun. We learned a lot. And yeah. So anyway, you're journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. Okay, so we're talking about, I don't even know what. I think maybe this first Sunday of Advent, since it's about hope, I mean, maybe we need to be reminded that hope stands for hang on, pain ends, or hope stands for hang on, praying expectantly. I mean, I don't know which season of life you're in, which one you're doing, if you're praying or you're hoping or I don't know the season, but I just know that it is the season in our liturgical year where we are waiting, we are expectant, and we are preparing, obviously for the second coming of Jesus, for the birth of Jesus, which is, I don't know, did you even do any Christmas shopping, Robs? Did you start, get on here and tell me.
I'm on.
How ready are you for Christmas?
Not at all.
So will you ever be ready?
Yeah, I'll be ready in a couple weeks, but just not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk for these next couple weeks because I want you to be mindful about the reason for the season. And so if we are ready, if we stay ready, we do not have to get ready. And so what does that even look like? I mean, I think really if we're just staying in our own lane and inspiring others to do the same, that we just want to keep pursuing the best version, like pursue the best version of you, not the best version of someone else, but the best version of you. And the reason I did not do this week is because I'm really trying to step up my exercise game. And, really, I just want to kill it before the new year. I do not want to say, well, I'll start in January. I want to start this now, right now, December 3rd. I want to start this. And so every day I say to Campbell, like, tomorrow, Campbell, I'm going to start my diet. Now, the other day, she caught me walking on the treadmill. Remember last week I was texting and doing all these things while I was on the treadmill. Well, this time I was eating sweet potatoes while walking on the treadmill. They were so fabulous. I mean, it was the largest bowl. Robs, have you ever done that? No. You have never eaten sweet potatoes on the treadmill. No. They were phenomenal. Anyway, so back to the Christmas lights and the Christmas decorations. I was ready. I was ready for the shelter, got pleasantly surprised, so ready for my kids, had an amazing time with them. But I was so not ready for my man and the Christmas decorations. Because here's what's so funny. Is when we say something, we think that someone understood what they think we meant by what we said, but the reality is what we even said is not even what we really meant. Okay, now that is not as confusing as I made it sound. The truth is that when we talk, people assign meaning to what it is that we're saying. And so as I was trying to put the Christmas decorations out in our new home, and I was trying to figure out where things go, like in the years past, we lived in the same house since 2003, and so I had a visual of where everything went. Like I knew which box it was marked for this room, that room, this mantle, this whatever. And so it was easy to do it, but it was organized and it was planned and we executed. So it was simple. This year we were in some new space. We're in this new season of our life where we're navigating our first holiday and we were getting stuff ready and put in our new house. So as I was trying to figure out where stuff was going, my man was taking it like I was complaining because I didn't have as much space as I had in the other house. It had nothing to do with that. It was just trying to orchestrate our new normal, right? Because this is the new season of our life. And here's the amazing part. It's the most amazing season. We have less than we ever had. We are happier than we have ever been. And we are more in love than I ever thought we could. Now, the reason I tell you that is because my man and I, we've been through some stuff. We've been through some really, really big stuff. And we've weathered some amazing storms. And I think finally, we have gotten to the point where we prepare and we plan and we execute on those plans and those preparations in almost every conversation. But I told Robin on the break, like, my man fell apart when it got to the lights. Like the lights just made him. That man said the F word more than, I don't even know, more times than I've been on the air, which is, I think I have 300 shows logged on my YouTube channel, which by the way, you can listen to anytime you want by going to Judy Hehr, my YouTube channel. Every show is there and you can listen to past shows and whatever. So my man and I, it was a moment of literally being, in 2 seconds, the whole thing could have went really bad. I visioned him taking the tree and throwing it, hurling it down the large front lawn. But the reality was, it all seemed so tangled up, all the lights. And here's what happened, is my girls did the lights last year. And so I think they put them on in November and Bob took them off in May. Okay, it was one of those things where no one ever took the lights off. And so finally he took them off and made the girls put them away. Well, you know what they did? They just rolled them all in a ball. They literally just rolled them in a ball and threw them in a box, only to find 1 year later, or 6 months later in this case, that we were not ready. We were not ready to do the lights. We did not plan. We did not prepare. And it really just made for like a whole lot more drama for this mama, because my man was getting so mad. And then when you plug it in, and you know how like they don't, after you untangle, so you got, there's some execution about this. And I thought of the many people who decorate their house like the Griswolds. You know, we just threw like a couple lights on a couple bushes, and I thought it was amazing until Campbell compared our house to the people down the street, and then it wasn't good enough. So why is it that we do that when we are really just called to run our own race? Okay, we are called to be expectant, joyful, hopeful, and anticipating the fact that not only are things going to get better, but they're going to be better than we could ever ask, dream, or imagine. For those of you who are wallowing and wondering and worrying, like, this is not time for that. This is time to take the 360-degree approach to your life, which is, I am waiting expectantly in joyful hope for something really great. Because what God starts in us, oops, no banging, what God starts in us, He is faithful to complete. So how do you become the best version of yourself? How do you approach this Advent season expectant and joyful and anticipatory? Because here's the thing. That's what hope is. Hope is an actual belief that something is going to happen. And while you might not have any proof of the fact that it's going to, your proof is not in people, it's not in places, nor is it in things. It is in the fact that God provides, right? He just absolutely provides. And so we just really want to be led to higher ground, led to places and spaces where we just know that we can look at things from a different perspective. Like, that's what the amazing thing about the shelter when we go there. We are so ungrateful and so entitled in my household. Like, you know, we just are. And so that deliberate, intentional way that we stepped outside of our deliberate entitledness and presumptuous life to just get underneath somebody else's umbrella, to just see that what made Thanksgiving for this little girl the best Thanksgiving ever would never be the same standards that we would judge as our best Thanksgiving ever. So you're journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. And I just have like a whole bunch of pieces of paper all around me. Not sure what we'll be talking about in the next segment, but I know it'll be valuable. I know you're going to want to stay tuned. You're journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1, thanks to Cunis Country Auto Group.
I am not who I was, being remade, I am new. I'm chosen and holy, and I'm dearly loved, I am new.
All right, so welcome back. You're journeying with Judy right here this first Sunday of Advent, which we call, this Advent actually means coming, okay? We're talking about what it means because we're preparing, we are planning, we are waiting with expectant hope for what's going to happen in a few weeks, which is the birth of Jesus. And as Christians, we want to believe in the second coming of Jesus. So are we ready? Like, if Jesus were to show up today, how ready are you? You know, I thought I was ready for my kids coming home. I thought I was ready for the shelter, thought I was ready to do my new diet, I thought I was going to be ready to do this show, but I'm so not ready. Like, I'm so not ready for the things that are so important to be ready for. And you know, I don't know about you, but I know that it makes sense for us to be afraid to move forward in, you know, anticipation and expectation and hope because we're so busy looking backward, right? Like, I feel like one of the greatest things I get to do is to help people get past the past. Right? So I love it when I'm driving my car and I'm oblivious, as all of you know that I am, and how the rear view mirror is so small and how the windshield is so big. And I think that's intentional. It's intentional that we continue to be mindful of what lies ahead being so much bigger and so much better and so much more awesome than we could ever ask, dream, or imagine. And what we leave behind will always pale in comparison to what lies ahead. But I think what happens is we get stuck looking back, right? And so I hope, and I'm praying that this Advent season that you're able to wait in joyful hope. And as you look back, it's only to see how far you've actually come, right? So it is important to look back. But honestly, like, we want to be people of hope. We want to be people who look back in order to look forward. And so it's like being ready, being ready so you don't have to get ready, right? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And so how is it this Advent season that you can be better than you were this time last year? Just because this season of your life, it might not be what you're expecting or what you hoped it would be. I guess I've adopted the mindset that it is exactly what it's supposed to be. And while I don't understand it, don't always like it, I choose to accept it as it is what it is. And so that's what's so cool about my man and I, is that my man's still looking backwards, right? Like, it's so funny. The other day we were driving and we drove on South Lake Shore Drive. Now, we lived there from 2003 until 2017, however many years that is. I can tell you that since I moved June 20th, I have never driven on that street. Robs, I just have not driven by my old house. Like, God has given me this amazing gift to put the past in the past. Like, that door is closed and there's really no reason to look back except to say, wow, that was really great. I don't look back to think how much worse we are off now or how different it could have been. It is what it is. It was what it was. And I am so anticipatory for what God is going to do in this next season, but not without being mindful of the season I'm in. And so I'm so excited to try to teach my man some of these tools, because he literally was so concerned about, like, that we had way too many Christmas decorations for the space and things didn't fit. You know what? It's perfectly imperfect, Robs. Like, everything doesn't match, and that's okay, and things don't fit, and that's even better. We just made it work. And I think that's the beauty of this particular season in our life, is I'm just willing, Rob. I'm just willing to embrace it for what it is, accept it for what it is, and let go of what it's not, because it doesn't matter. Like, God is so good all the time, and all the time God is so good that if we come to him with these open hands, waiting, expectantly, anticipating, and maybe even doing a little preparing, the odds are we will execute this thing called life with a much different disposition, and we'll be so much more ready to get past the past and to move into what it is that God plans for us. So I don't know how you do that. How do you focus on your passion and your purpose? How do you change that focus to quit looking back and start looking forward? How do you forget those former things and look forward to what God is doing, right? So if you're going to become all that you were created to be, then you got to learn not to rely on the past or past victories. Like, people who are moving forward are always, the target's always moving, right? So the idea isn't that you're not good enough. The idea is that I just want to be doing better than I was yesterday. Me, my journey, my best version of me is all I need to worry about. And sometimes we get caught up in those two places that we can't control, which is the past and the future. And God is just calling us to be mindful right here and right now of the abundance that he has placed before us to embrace, to love, to appreciate. And when we are people of abundance, we have no time for lack. No time for lack and no time for looking back, except to see how far we've come. So I have no idea what the show is about. I hope you got something from it. That would be awesome. If not, at least keep it hot, honest, open, and transparent. Peace out.